Hello there, Rebels of the Sherpolution, and welcome to the Sherpa's Podcast Picks. It is me, Jim the Podcast Sherpa, coming to you from Sherpaloo Studios here in the Sherpa Chalet, high atop Mount Podcastia, where we overlook hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of podcasts that are out there. Yep, there's that many. And I will be listening to every last one of them, eventually. But we are here, and today it is a Sherpa Samples Day. And today it is a Sherpa Selects Day. And Sherpa Selects, for those of you who are new to the show, is when we take a look back at some of our older episodes. And this was done in 2020. It was an interview with a lady named Tammy. And she has the TGIT podcast. There's actually a few out there right now called TGIT. And this one is, Thank God It's Today. That's what it stands for. Tammy had a really interesting story. She was a mom who was in an abusive relationship, and she got out of it. And she came up with this inspiring podcast and got a lot of followers. Now, from what I understand, the TGIT podcast doesn't exist anymore right now. I think the last episode came out in about April of 2024. But Tammy has been going down a new avenue, pursuing a career. Pursuing a new career as a country singer. And if you actually go to her YouTube channel, you can see some of the songs that she sung. We wish her all the best. And this one takes us way back to our initial interview when she just had the podcast and before she was doing the singing. And I wanted to wish you a happy Mental Wealth Month. What are you saying, mental wealth, Sherpa? I can explain that to you. Well, I was reminded by my friends over at Magic Mind. You remember Magic Mind. We did some ads for them a while back. And they have this wonderful formula that helps keep you mentally sharp and alert, made with all natural stuff and mushrooms. And now, get this, Rebels. Now they have also come out with a sleep elixir. And I got to tell you, they sent me a sample of that. And, ooh, I got to say, 2 words for you Rebels. Jackpot. That's right. And this elixir does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's got a nice taste. It's got a nice taste. It's a very nice. It's got a nice taste, a very pleasant berry taste. And what this does is it helps you relax at night and fall asleep quicker, and you wake up refreshed. Now you're thinking, oh, it's probably got melatonin in it. No melatonin in this one, and it's not habit forming at all. The more you take it, the more your body absorbs it, and you get used to it. And it's made with stuff like valerian and chamomile. You've heard of stuff like that. Helps you relax, helps you sleep. And I've been using this the last couple of nights, and I got to tell you, I close my eyes, boom! I go into that deep sleep and not constantly getting up during the night. And even if I do wake up during the night, I fall right back asleep. So it's definitely got a calming effect when you're in bed. You take it a half hour before you go to sleep and you're in business. It's that simple. And it's just a little shot, just like the Magic Mind. And it's just a little shot that you drink, just like the other Magic Mind project. And it's a little shot that you drink, just like the other Magic Mind products. It's that simple. And if you want to find out about sleeping better and getting better focus, I tell you what you do. Take a look at the show notes, and you will see www.magicmind.com/ and in capitals, Sherpa, Sherpa, Jan, Jan for January, because it is Mental Wealth Month, and you can get a special deal. So, if you want to get in on the January Mental Wealth Challenge, guess what? For the first time, you get the 24-hour pack. You get the focus and sleep shots bundled up for the first time at a 45%. So are you ready to take the January Mental Wealth Challenge? I'll tell you what, For the first time, Magic Mind is offering this. It's the 24 hours pack. It's the focus and the sleep shots bundled up for the first time at a 45% discount exclusively with the link that I'm going to give you that will be in my show notes, just in case you forget. It's www.magicmind.com/ and in capitals, Sherpa, Sherpa, Jan for January. So do you want to improve both your sleep and your awake clarity with Magic Mind? Well, you know what? Nope. So do you want to improve both your sleep and your awake clarity with Magic Mind? Well, you know, there's no better time to start than right about now, 2025. Make this the year that you kick it off and build up that mental resilience. Now, I'm wide awake. I'm ready for this. Let's check out our Sherpa Select with TGIT host Tammy.
Welcome to Too Many Podcasts, the podcast about podcasts. Now, podcasting from the Sherpa Chalet on Mount Podcastia, here's your host, Jim, the podcast Sherpa.
Welcome to Too Many Podcasts. You can check this show out on my website, sherpalution.com, or on your favorite podcast app, which is maybe what you're using right now. Hi, how you doing? Jim the Podcast Sherpa here. And I'm sure you're wondering, who's our guest today, Sherpa?
Who's our guest today, Sherpa?
Her name is Tammy, and she has a Facebook Live program. Not yet officially a podcast, but when I get the details, I will let all you rebels know. We need a little positivity these days, don't we? So why don't we make that our theme?
It's theme week. It's theme week. It's theme week.
Yep, positivity. That's as good a theme as any. And I think that her Facebook Live program will inspire you, and her podcast likely will when that gets off the ground. As Tammy likes to say, TGIT, and I say TGI Audible. That doesn't even make sense. But hey, let's swing into the commercial. Today's podcast is being brought to you by Audible, and you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Sherpa. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. All right. In for a little bit of positivity? Sure you are. Let's take a listen to my conversation with Tammy.
Hey there, rebels. I'm on the phone going old school. Well, sort of old school. We've got cell phones. There's no rotary on these things. I'm talking to my friend Tammy, and after numerous technical difficulties, we have made it here to the telephone conference room of the Sherpa Chalet. And she hosts a Facebook Live program and soon a podcast to be filling the airs of Podcastia. So everybody say hello to Tammy. Hey, Tammy, how's it going?
Hey, that's my little famous coin phrase right there. And my fans love when I say, hey. I'm doing wonderful tonight now that we worked through our difficulties. We finally got it going.
We can congratulate ourselves, right?
Yes. I mean, that was quite a feat, but we accomplished it. I'm proud of us.
That's right. And we'll thank the airwaves for that, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, why don't you start off and we can kind of get to know you a little bit and tell you a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 45 and I am a mom of 6, and I'm really, really into my health and fitness, so I really take care of all of that. And I really have I went through a major transition in life. And so I'm really starting over at this point in my life. And that's a big deal when you're 45. And
Sure.
I actually had a near-death experience. And that's what just kind of spiraled this whole thing into motion. And once I went through that event, it caused me to, question everything and just have a whole new mentality on life. And so my health and my fitness and everything became a priority. and just my mental well-being, my spiritual well-being. And, of course, with going through what I had gone through, the biggest thing for me was that I now had a mission in life. Of course, I've always been a mom. I mean, being a mom is the biggest part of my life, and it always has been. But up until that point, I really was just focused on being a mom. I didn't really have anything for Tammy, per se, a mission. And after that event, I actually had a mission in life. And that mission was to turn the thing that I went through into a healing journey and to actually share it with other people, because I knew that there were other people that also hurt out there. And so I didn't want my pain to be in vain. I decided that very thing, this pain will not be in vain, and I'm going to help, if I can, just one single person a day. That was the goal. And so I started doing Facebook Lives on my personal Facebook page, and people really started resonating with them, and it really started touching people's lives. And I was getting messages. And, I'm, of course, not a counselor or anything in that profession. I don't profess to be. But I'm just being real and being me and just sharing my personal daily thoughts and the things that I may be encountering in order to help someone else. And while doing that, as I said, it started resonating with many, many people, and people all over the world, people all over the country, people that know me or have never met me. And I would start getting messages and people sharing it and it getting lots of views. And so it's just been quite a journey. And it's been very exciting to be able to touch those lives like that. I get a lot of messages from people that it's helped. And so I continue to do that, because it was making a difference. That's my mission, is to help one person every single day. That's the whole thing, is just one person. If there's one person out there that needs me or that needs that message of inspiration, of hope, to know that they're not alone and that everybody goes through hard times, and sometimes we have the great times, and we can share those as well. So that's really my mission, is to help one person every single day. And not only do I share just like Facebook Lives, but I'm huge into positivity, because that's what has helped me get through. So I post things constantly that are very positive. That's who I am, just within myself, is a very positive person.
Everybody's like a comeback.
Yeah.
They're like people who are resilient, and I guess like that's probably what they can relate to. And I wish that I can do what she's doing right now. What was like the first step that you took?
Oh, the first step I took. Well, there were many. I started doing a lot of things outside of my box. I was just like, okay, I'm going to take, I'm going to go join a gym. I had not done that. I had not ever been at a gym. And so I started with a personal trainer, and it was very different for me. I'd always worked out at home and had great results because I was determined and dedicated. But then I decided I can take this to the next level, and my health can, because there's always room for improvement. Every day we can be better than we were yesterday. And so that's something new that I've done. And it's hard when you've never done that. It was so scary to walk into that place with other people. So that's how, I did a Facebook Live about that. Don't be afraid. I was scared to death, but even if you're afraid, just keep going and push yourself and go for it, because now it feels amazing. When I walk in, people know my name, and they're like, hey, it's so good to see you, girl, you're back. So that's just another little small experience that I've shared with my friends and followers and fans that have encouraged them. And they're like, oh, wow, well, if you can do this at 45, so can I. Because a lot of times we need that extra little push from somebody that's real to say, oh, yeah, if she can do it, I can do it. And so that's exactly one of the ways that I would say, I've stepped outside of my box. But my entire mentality in life actually changed because of that very traumatic event that I had. Some other ways that I've changed things is I decided to travel, and that would mean traveling alone. And so I took self-defense classes and things like that, so that like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I branched out and just went and took a class. These are all big things. I'm a very petite person. And I was like, if I'm going to travel and I'm going to, be out there in the world, I need to be able to protect myself. And so those are different things that I've done, to enable myself to be able to travel and to do those things. So that's a lot of what I've done also. I just would book a flight and go to the beach and spend time there. That's my happy place. That is the happiest place on earth for me. And I just got back from there this weekend. But that's another way that I've stepped outside of the box, is to travel alone and just go for that, and just spend that time there alone and reflecting and looking at my mission and, what I want to accomplish in my life. So that's another one of the things I've done. There are so many, like I'm night and day. Like the last several months, I'm a completely different person. It's very exciting when you decide to do something and make a transition like that. Sometimes you're not always given the choice. Sometimes it's just something that's brought into your path and you have to do that. And so it's nice to be able to share, the ways that I've done that with other people to try to assist them with their journeys too.
Is there anything that you wish that you could have said to the Tammy from pre-death experience, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now, yes. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. Something one day, after that near-death experience, I woke up. I realized that every single day is a gift, and you truly do not know if that day is going to be your last day. And so another way that I changed my lifestyle was, I used to always do the same exact things all the time. The same restaurant, the same food, the same, whatever I got would be the same dessert or what have you. And I decided, I want to try everything I can try, because this could be my last meal. And if it's going to be my last meal, I don't want it to be the same meal I've had for 15 years, per se. I want to try something different. And so I would just get my steak a totally different way. Instead of butterflied, well done, no pink at all. I said, well, let's try medium well. Let's try medium rare. And let's kind of see exactly what Tammy really does like. And so now I prefer my steak medium well instead of well done, no pink. So it's just amazing how your mentality can change your entire lifestyle. And so I try not to go to the same places. I try to branch out, and most of the time that's alone. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very comfortable being with myself and enjoying life, because if today is the last day I have, then I'm going to go have that lunch I want to have or that meal, and I don't have to depend on someone to go with me to experience that. If it's my last day, I want to experience it to the fullest. So this is what happened with that. I embraced that mentality, okay? And one day I was working out, and I was still working out at home at that point, and it was a Friday morning, and I was doing my workout, and I was like, oh, it's Friday, TGIF. That famous little phrase you hear, TGIF, it's Friday, thank God it's Friday. And it stopped me in my tracks. And I mean, literally, I was by myself, working out, and I was like, wait a minute, why does everybody wait for Friday to be grateful, to be so happy to be alive? I was like, every day is a gift. That's the mentality that I've adopted. And I was like, it should be TGIT. Thank God it's today, every day that you wake up. And so I started thinking like that, and I started sharing it. I immediately did a Facebook Live on it and shared it with everybody. And they were like, I've never heard that in my life, but you're so right. That is very powerful. And that was back in, I believe, November that I first shared that, I believe, November of 2019. And I started just hashtagging TGIT, TGIT, and thank God it's today, and sharing that. And people started catching on to it, and it's becoming like a big thing, like it's getting out all over social media. And I have people write me. I get hundreds of messages a day. My inbox is so full right now, I can't even go through all of them. Everybody's like, TGIT, what a wonderful saying, what a wonderful lifestyle and a phrase, and I love it. And thank you for giving us that and sharing that. And I was like, it was a gift to me, like God shared it with me, that mentality, and I embraced it, and I share it everywhere I go. That's what I do every day. And I actually had like a fan, send me a water bottle, and they had it written on there, like engraved on there, thank God it's today. So it's really, really taking off, and the mentality is so important. And, Jim, I would find myself waking up and thinking, what is today? I would have to look at my phone to see if it were Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, because I honestly wouldn't even know. I really, really live that life where it's just today. I'm not concerned of what day of the week it is. It's a gift, and it's today. And so that is my thing. That is my mission, to share that and to help people grasp that and to embrace that lifestyle and treasure that day that we are given, because it truly can be our last. That's just a huge part of my heart, is to share that vision and that with people.
It's kind of in step with what you were just saying, taking something that you're doing every day and looking at it differently.
I had someone contact me, and, a mutual friend of ours, and say, hey, we need to take this somewhere. They're loving it. You've got, thousands of followers, and, they're loving it, and they love this thing. So then I ended up creating a Facebook page, a fan page, and so I'm trying to share everything from that now, and just continuing to share the messages and go on the journey. I'm still in that transition stage, and so, there are hard days, there are great days, and I just try to roll with that, and just share what I'm going through with the people, and I get the feedback from them that it's helping them, and so that's what matters to me, that I get to do that every day. What a fulfilling and wonderful feeling that I have within my heart every day, to know that somebody out there was touched.
From what I've really heard you say so far, it sounds like you're definitely a very spiritual person. You're in touch with your spiritual side.
I definitely am. I believe that it was nothing but God that saved me on that night. There was no other reason that I should be here except for that. And I've always been very close to God, but after that, I knew that He really had a plan for me here, and that plan is for helping other people. It's not about me. It's not about anything to do with me. It's about that positivity, sharing that hope, and letting other people know. It's very important for me to encourage and to inspire other people to know that your story matters. Because, one day I shared on a Facebook Live that I can share my story, but that's not going to resonate with everyone. And, I can't touch every single person. Everybody has a different story and journey. But you, the person out there listening right now, you have a story, and it's a ripple effect. If you tell your story just to one person and it makes a difference to them, then you can encourage them to do the same. So I call it that ripple effect. I want to inspire other people to share their stories, because somebody needs to hear your story out there. You're listening, and somebody needs to hear your story. So I always encourage people to share it. And people ask me how. And I'm like, with a friend, with a neighbor, with someone, at church or in a group you may be in, or on a Facebook Live, or just a tweet, an Instagram post. There are so many ways to share your story, and it can impact so many people. So I really encourage people to do that, because we need to hear people's life stories so that we can encourage one another with that hope.
I know you said your podcast hasn't started up yet, but that's really a large part of having a good podcast, because there's no, most of the time there's no visual medium attached to it. So it's just a lot of good storytelling, whether it's fictional or down to earth or something scary, something that affects people and makes people want to listen.
Absolutely. And that's why I have been encouraged by so many of my friends and followers and fans, we want to hear a podcast with you. We want this, and we want you to have guests on and to do this. And I would be honored to do that for them. If that's what they want, then I want to be there for them in any and every way that I can. So I'm definitely working on that and looking forward to that. I think that would be such an honor, to do what you're doing, to be able to hear somebody's story all the time. That is amazing, because I don't just have a story to share. I want to hear other people's stories, and I get, literally, hundreds of messages of people telling me their stories, people that have cancer, people that have lost their spouse or loved one. And they want me to encourage them, pray with them, and I always do. And they especially love on Facebook, there's this feature where you can actually send a little voice clip. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You can actually hit record and send just a message. And so many times, I will just do a quick little message or a personal prayer for them for whatever they're going through. And they have responded, the people have responded like, just overwhelmingly, like, you do not know what that meant to me. That was personal, and you took the time to do that for me. And that's my heart. That is my heart. That is my whole entire being, is to do that every day, like I said, for one person. So if one person asks me for a prayer or tells me something about what they're going through, I'll just say, hey, I'm going to say a prayer for you right now. And I'll just say a little prayer and encourage them and let them know that they're loved, and it means a lot to them. So I'm feeling wonderful because I get to do that and that they want that. So I'm really loving that.
And sometimes people live their lives not knowing that they've touched the lives of other people. It's great that you get that sort of feedback. Is there any special circumstance that stands out for your experience doing this so far?
Oh, yes. One day I was really, thinking, oh, why am I doing these Facebook Lives? Like, they don't matter, nobody cares, really, does it make a difference? I'm just not going to do it today. I feel silly, and I'm always nervous when I do them every time. I'll be shaking, and I'm always like, hey, you guys, hey, and they love that little hey. But it's kind of a nervous thing. I'm like, I'm just real. I'm just me. I'm shaking, but I'm here. And so I really, really struggled with doing this one Facebook Live this one day. And the next night, like that night, this gentleman had written me, and he said, I want you to know that I didn't want to live, and I saw your Facebook Live this evening, and you encouraged me to keep living. And I was blown away. I was blown away. And he was like, because I saw that, I'm still here. And so that was incredible to experience that. That's one of course, the biggest ones, that a life, was saved just by me being obedient, getting on and sharing a story that I was even struggling to do, thinking it didn't matter. And here was this one person that was saved. And I just told him, I was just being obedient, but I asked him and encouraged him to still seek help, because I'm not, a professional counselor or anything like that. I said, you had that moment, and so I want to ask you to still get help. And he wrote me back, and he said, I did so. I went and got help, all because you asked me to. And I just want you to know that for me, you're like an earth angel, and I hope I get to meet you in person, because you really saved my life. And that was very powerful for me. So because of that, now whenever I feel that feeling like, okay, you need to get on a Facebook Live and talk about this, because of that man, I don't hesitate anymore. I'm still nervous. I'm still shaking. I'm still nervous about what I'm doing, because I'm just getting on there sharing my heart. I don't have a script. I don't know, exactly what all I'm going to say. There's nothing scripted. There's no one that helps me. Other than the Lord, but I just get on and share my heart. And so, of course, it can be very nerve-wracking, but because of him, I'm like, I have to do that. If I'm feeling it, then there could be another one of him out there. And so that's very big for me. That was a huge moment for me. That changed that fear of it not mattering to knowing it does matter, and keep doing it. And there are numerous stories that I have like that, numerous people that have contacted me. I actually had a local lady write me and say, I've never met you in person, but I've seen you here on Facebook, and we live in the same town. And, your Facebook Lives and even your posts have gotten me through so many hard times. And she shared with me some personal things about her life. She's been through a whole lot in the military and things like that. And she said, there are days that I can hardly get through the day until I see your posts, and then they encourage me to go on. And she said, I've actually had a dream, and you were in my dream, and you came to me and said, you're going to be okay. You just need to be yourself. And she said, so I haven't met you, but you came to me in a dream. And I was like, wow, that is very powerful. That's encouraging that I, meant so much to someone and that they felt that encouragement. So that is, that's really touching, that she felt that way and that it made a difference in her life, which is all that matters to me, that it made a difference for her. And so that meant a lot to me. So I've had many, many stories like that. There was a lady that I met with her in person, and we had dinner together. A few of us together did. We had met. We hadn't seen each other in years, and we're all here locally where I live. And I was just sharing my story and how I had a mission now. And she called me the next morning crying, and she said, I need you to know that you changed my life. And I was like, how? And she said, because I went home, and I had to dig deep. And I called my husband and said, you know what? I never had a mission before, but because she shared with me hers, it encouraged me to come dig deep and to sit here tonight and to find mine, and now I know mine. And so she's off doing her thing, and I'm watching her fly, and it's amazing. But it touched me so much that just sharing my little story that is just my own little thing, has touched these lives like that, and mission accomplished. If I never touched another one, those were enough. Each one of those was enough.
I'm sure if anybody's keeping score, after the first one, everybody else is just a bonus.
Oh, each one is so special to me. Like each person, I have so many that write me, and there's so many that are faithful and just always commenting and, TGIT, and I just love it. And so even the logo that I created for the Thank God It's Today has like a little sunshine on it, because I want everybody to know that it's about that little today, the little sunshine, that when you wake up and you have that new day, to embrace it. So it's really neat, to see everybody embracing TGIT and sharing it on all forms of social media. It means a lot to me, and I really hope, it is my goal and it is my hope for it to make TGIF obsolete, because I really want everybody out there to get that TGIT mentality. Thank God it's today, and I literally wake up and say it every day, even on the hardest days, the days that you cry, the days that you're going through the things that we have to go through. You still can have that mentality, and you can still feel that way. It's not always happy and rainbows and, yes, my little sunshine and my logo, but it's about the mentality, and that even on the hard days, I still thank God it's today, because I'm still here. I'm alive and I'm breathing. And so I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can be here and just to share that love with people.
You were saying that you get nervous before you do your talks. I guess what it is that because you don't use a script and you're speaking from the heart, you're kind of making yourself a little bit more vulnerable. People that are listening to every word that you're saying.
Absolutely. And, like you and I was nervous to come on here with you. I was like, I'm nervous. And you're like, we're just going to have a conversation. But I'm still nervous every time, because there's still no script right now. But what makes it easier is that you can actually give me feedback. You can ask me a question and we can talk. When you're on a Facebook Live, you're just talking. There's no one to talk back to you. So I'm just on there, just bearing my heart and being completely vulnerable. And I always say this, I'm just being transparent. I'm being completely myself and just getting on here. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I laugh. And, I have this really, I call it obnoxious laugh. Like I'll get tickled and I'll laugh this really funny, like kind of loud laugh. And I'm like, I hate my laugh. And I get more people, they're like, please don't stop doing that. I love your laugh. It's so cute. And I'm like, oh, I hate it. And they're like, I love it. It's the best part of your Facebook Live. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just me. So they love my obnoxious laugh even. So I love that they love me that much, and I love them that much too. It's really funny. It's really fun sharing life with these people and getting to know them. And, like if they come through, they'll say, hey, let's meet for coffee. And I actually get to meet you in person. And I'm like, I would be happy to. And so, I can meet up with a group of people and we have coffee and it becomes reality. And then you're real friends. So that's really neat. That's a great part of the journey. And I look forward to having moments like that where they can come in and, we could have like some kind of setting where I could meet them in person. And of course, doing podcasts will be part of that as well. And I also do have a book in the works, so that'll be another part of that, another piece of the puzzle. So lots of exciting things. I'm super excited. And, as hard as that experience was that I've gone through, I have to look at it and say it's worth it, because now I get to help other people. And see, like right now, I want to cry because I have so much gratitude in my heart that I could make a difference in one person's life. If what I've gone through can do that, then it was worth it. It was worth it in every way, shape, and form. And that's what I want to do.
What also probably works for you is that people can detect sincerity. So they know that, like you're speaking from the heart, and you're bearing your soul, and it's not an act. It's just you being Tammy, and people they're either going to like you or they're not going to like you. They're going to make their own judgments. I'm sure the people who see something in you that they want to see in themselves are going to be the ones that are going to be your most rabid fans.
Yes, absolutely. And, people write me and they'll say, I love TGIT, thank God it's today. But I always say, thank God it's Tammy when you come on a Facebook Live. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yes. When you come on, I'm like, thank God it's Tammy. Here she is. She's on a Facebook Live. I'm so excited to see her. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing. What a compliment, for someone to say, thank God it's Tammy. And so that's part of what we're trying to decide about the podcast name. Will it be Thank God It's Today, or will it be Thank God It's Tammy? We'll have to ask the fans. They're the ones who will support it and help it grow and share it and listen. So I'll definitely leave it in their hands, because that's what matters to me, what they feel.
What other podcasts do you like to listen to?
Oh, I like to listen to a lot of like mystery ones. I love real life ones. I listened to the one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the one of the real life story of the girl in Georgia, Tara. I think her name was Tara or Tara. Excellent. Her life story. She was missing, and it was this huge case, like a cold case. So I really enjoy the things like that. Yeah, the ones like that. Mm-hmm. Lots of great ones out there. There's so many to choose from.
There are.
Yes, there are. Yes,
that's what keeps the Sherpa busy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's great when you're working out or when you're driving, because I would prefer, to learn. So I'm always loving to learn anything I can learn. And so listening to those when you're driving and such is just wonderful. It's like you've got somebody right there with you. And so it's really fun and exciting, too.
Absolutely. Now, we have a portion of the show, and it's called Shameless Self-Promotion.
Shameless Self-Promotion.
And this is where you can let our little rebels who are listening to know how they can get in touch with you, or any of your social media things that you're on, so they can so they can follow you as well.
Absolutely. I would be honored, and I would love for you to come and share the journey with me and share your journey with me. Share my journey with you and yours with me. I created a new Facebook page, and it's simply called Tammy. So it's Tammy, and that's on Facebook. And then there'll be connections to my Instagram, my Twitter, and of course, I have a personal Facebook, but I think it's completely filled up almost. So just the Facebook page, Tammy, is the most important. And of course, there's probably going to be a YouTube to come, and definitely the podcast. And always look for the hashtag TGIT. So that is the little hashtag I created, hashtag TGIT. Thank God it's today. And you can look that up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can find it all over, because that's what I'm doing. That's my little baby. I call it my baby.
Well, I say TGIT. This gal is terrific, and her name is Tammy, and I appreciate you coming down to the Sherpa Chalet, even though we have to thank the airwaves that we got it to work today.
Yes, we did, and I'm so honored that you had me. I'm grateful, and I appreciate you very much.
And now it's time for Sherpa Suggestions.
Okay, Rebels, for this week's Sherpa suggestions, I got a little help from a website called happierhuman.com for podcasts about happiness. Now, we have Tammy's soon-to-be podcast, and of course, I can't forget my friend Mr. Howie Craw and Howie Doing It, and also my friend Deanne Goodman's In Better News. Definitely podcasts that you want to check out if you want to have a smile on your face. We also have Happier with Gretchen Rubin, The Good Life Project, The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes, The Science of Happiness with Dr. Kellner, The One You Feed by Eric Zimmer and Chris Forbes, The Daily Boost with Scott Smith, Earn Your Happy with Lori Harder, The Positive Psychology Podcast, Live Happy Now, Adventures in Happiness with Jessica Ortner, and The Kindness Project with father-daughter duo Chris and Charlotte. There. I bet you've already got a smile on your face now, right? Or are you just waiting for that stimulus check? Thanks so much for listening, guys and gals and rebels of the Sherpolution. And a special thanks to Tammy. And when her podcast is up and running, I'll be announcing that for you on my social media pages. Now, where are my social media pages? Well, if you go to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and look for Sherpolution, just click follow and you can follow me on social media and you can hear what's going on and whom I've spoken to, and you'll know when new shows are coming out. You can also see the schedule of each month's shows by going to my website, sherpolution.com. We hope you enjoyed this show, and we'll be back next week with the Sherpa Screening Room. Here's a guy who's always happy. I think he's been sneaking into the liquor cabinet at the Sherpa Chalet, but I'm not going to say anything. Well, Mr. Bruce, oh, there you are. Yes, could you please show everyone the door? I thank you, sir. Bye, Rebels. Viva la Sherpolution!
Thanks for listening to Too Many Podcasts. Please disperse. You can go home now. I said you can go home now. Viva la Sherpolution. Viva la Sherpolution. Oh. Yeah, I'll come back now, you hear?